My name is Matthew Bright. I'm the writer and director of Freeway. Freeway is what I call an artsploitation film. I wanted to get elements of both and have them naturally integrated. It's the tale of Little Red Riding Hood set against a modern background. I always thought that the story of Little Red Riding Hood had an element of smut in it, and that's where the exploitation comes in, I guess. The credits say it all. They indicate, what this is about, my love for white cotton underwear. It's really a celebration of girls, the whole film. I love them, and that's why I did a movie about them. I wrote the script over a 6-month period, and my agent handed it out, and the first people that saw it, Chris Hanley and Brad Wyman, they're among the producers of this film, and they felt that the writer, in this case, should direct it without ever even meeting me. They were experienced enough to read a script and know just by that whether the person responsible for it would be suitable for actually shooting the thing. After it originally went out, we had a very hard time funding it and finding a cast for it. And then Richard Rutowski, one of the writers of Natural Born Killers, got hold of the script and gave it to Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone read it and responded very well to it, and well enough to want to be the executive producer. And that's what he did. And his involvement ultimately made it possible for me to make this picture. I had always wanted to direct, but I just didn't think I'd be given a chance. And I was, and this is the result.
Okay, we've got a 4-word sentence here for you. What is it, Vanessa?
That's Roberta Hanley, an actress.
The.
And Reese Witherspoon, being illiterate. This is a special ed class. I first met Reese after Oliver became involved with the project. And she came in, and beforehand I'd been told she was very good, so I went out and got some of her films. Man in the Moon was, I guess, her first one. And she was about 13 or 14 years old, and she was just incredible. But of course it was a very different part. But she was just brilliant in it, and I had no doubt that she'd be great. I actually had no idea what she would bring. It would surprise me every day. Her performance in this was exceptional, I believe. And I was very lucky to have her, especially a first-time director like me. They have smiles glued to their faces. This was our very first shot in the film. And this was our second. And from then on, we were pretty much out of order. And now we come to Amanda Plummer. Amanda is volcanic in the way she acts. A lot of directors might try to put a cap on that once in a while. I was told by people, Amanda Plummer, she's got a lot of energy. She'll maybe too much. You gotta watch her. And I just let her go full out. There was no way I'd try to put a lid on that. She absolutely got the part. She just understood it perfectly. When I was writing it, I saw this kind of woman, and I mean, it was just perfect. I recommend that everybody within the sound of my voice direct Amanda Plummer in something. They'll really be pleased. Here we come to Michael T. Weiss. Michael had starred in this movie, Jeffrey. It was sort of like a standard leading man heartthrob type of role. And I mean, like, everybody was like falling in love with him, the women, everybody. And then he came in, and he looks like a hyena in this scene. I can't even. When he walked in to do voiceovers, a couple of voiceovers, I didn't recognize him as a normal person. I just remember this hyena-like character. He actually went out and to meet with some cops who put him in touch with, put him in contact to see people in the throes of crack addiction and shivering the way they do.
Hey, motherfucker.
I was very inspired by the television show Cops for this whole sequence here. The only difference, really, it's in color. And Amanda just got that perfectly. And Michael.
Where a press conference is now in progress regarding the grisly find yesterday morning along San Diego Freeway in Torrance.
The two females have been
Oh, Dan Hedaya. This film was made during the time that Nixon was being shot, and I was shuttling back and forth between the set of Nixon and our offices. And while I was there, I met Dan Hedaya, and Oliver had given him the script, Freeway, and he came on board over there. I just couldn't believe the cast I was getting. It was just steamrolling. I guess Kiefer was the first, Kiefer Sutherland, and then Reese, and then Dan, and Michael and Amanda. So he got his crack act down really well. And as I had never known him in a different sort of incarnation, I always thought of him as like this junkie degenerate. And he's not like that at all. He's a fine, upstanding fellow. Here he is hitting on daughter.
Larry, get your goddamn hands off my anatomy.
The happiest dad in the world. I wanted him to be happy, in spite of the fact that they were behaving in this way. Because there is a whole strata of society that actually this kind of thing is common with stepfathers and daughters. So on one level, they love each other, but it's more like a brother and sister level. But he's supposed to be dad. And mom.
Well, maybe we better just forget the whole thing.
No. I bet you like having your wiener sucked.
You betcha.
How come that doesn't surprise me?
What would a thing like that cost?
She's pretty pathetic in this.
Sheriff's Department, you're under arrest.
It was 118 degrees when we shot this scene. It was really a bad part of the desert, and we had to ice up the car to have Amanda be thrown upon it so she wouldn't blister. And when we moved into this motel, we had to throw out a junkie prostitute and her pimp right in the room that we used. And they were really upset.
Staying at this motel?
Yeah.
I love these cops. I love this guy.
Saw that before. of my life.
He's like the cop that humiliates in addition to busts. The ones that laugh at you.
They belong to me.
What is that, speed? You look like a speedy kind of guy.
Most people find this sort of thing pathetic, but
My little girl, she's home with me now. And
cops
she
seem
just
to
got out.
enjoy it.
And I can't afford to be busted again because they'll take her away from me. They just take my baby.
You know this pipe constitutes probable cause. So we're gonna have to take a look inside.
See, this is a way of life.
You can't do that.
And
My husband's asleep.
it's just all in a day's work.
Husband know you're out here soliciting?
Yeah, give us a fucking break.
All around the neighborhood, there were
Larry is.
a couples. You know, the man would sort of sit in the bushes so he could talk to her. The women be out hooking on the sidewalk.
Okay, come on, let's go.
It's funny how everything just slipped in to place.
You fucking have me about that, hey? Are you fucking have me about that?
You're gonna cut that out.
Amanda never told us anything that she was planning or what she was going to do. We just trusted it.
Not another word.
Sheriff's Department, Larry.
Her name's Spontaneous. She got cut out of the picture.
Hey, what the fuck? Oh, shit.
Who's the girl, Larry?
Take my baby away.
You diddling the daughter, Larry?
See, doesn't he look like a hyena there?
Get her out of here!
Hey, come on now.
I wanted to portray a strata of people, and I wanted to show them in, the way it is for them.
Take him into the other
In many cases, they're trying to hold a family together and do all the things that other people do, but their skills aren't so good. But the dynamics are all there. Mom's a good woman. She just has no idea that Larry's having sex with her daughter.
Just going through a hard time is all, with the finances and everything.
Well, I see they
And of course, Larry and Reese aren't like father and daughter.
I wouldn't be
But it's a common enough situation in a lot of households. And rather than portray them as victims of all this, I mean, you could make a whole movie out of the trauma, the psychological trauma the girl's going through from her situation at home. But I wanted to show them being and doing things as opposed to reacting to circumstances that other people might not find so typical. See, they still have time for a laugh now and then.
If you love us so much, how come you don't clean up around
They're a pretty good couple when you think about it. Larry's cracking out. The drugs are really affecting him now. That's what they do.
Will you please give me a cigarette?
I told you to keep quiet.
Please give her a cigarette.
We were all scratching when we got out of that room.
Honey,
I'm not mad, Mom.
please don't be mad. Come over here. Give me a big hug. Come on. Come on. I ain't gonna see you for a long time.
If you got a cut in that room, it would never heal. We were all afraid.
Oh, Patty. Oh. I'm so sorry, Pooh Bear. I'm so sorry.
Mom's herpy kept falling off. Like I said, it was 118 degrees. And our herpy wrangler wasn't on the set that day. Everybody on this production smoked. The herpy's back on again.
Tell this piece of shit to get his knee out of my neck.
I always liked the aquamarine color framing Larry. She said she could only do this once because we didn't have any stunt people on the set on that day. And, it was this gravel, and it's like 5 huge, enormous cops lifting you up into the air while you're hogtied is difficult. And it just went perfectly. It always does.
Well, what do you think we ought to do with you? Just leave you here?
I love Reese's ponytail in that. I wanted to have every female in this wear one,
You kidding?
No, I'm serious.
but
I mean, I can do all sorts of chores while you was out
it was with a few times I was overruled by actors and crew and producers.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. If you don't want to, all you had to do was just say it straight out.
Next time I will.
I don't want to.
Okay, then.
Look at that profile. It's like Tweety. Here's Mom. And this is Conchata Farrell as Mrs. Sheets. This was my first day of shooting, my very first thing that I shot. And she's a very professional lady and a very professional actress. And in many respects, I might have looked like I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't always have the vocabulary to describe it. So some of the direction would be in a series of gestures or noises or something. But anyway, I sort of got whipped into shape pretty quick by a lot of these people. I had all these different small parts in one day. Amanda Plummer. This is my first day of directing. I've got Conchata Farrell, Amanda Plummer, Reese Witherspoon, Michael Weiss. You know, it wasn't Bokeem Woodbine. It was a rough day.
Actually, she don't know about me yet.
That's not gonna do us much good for tonight. Why haven't you been in touch with her before now?
Because before
And there's nothing an actor's more afraid of than you're going to make them look ridiculous. And of course, I guess that's what a really terrible director would be in while you're unproven. It's just very nerve-wracking. By the end of a few days, everything was fine.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Of course, this was all handheld, in keeping with the cops' atmosphere of the first little part of Vanessa leaving home.
What are you wrong with this old thing?
I remember Mama gave it to me.
What are you doing?
Shit. Sorry. Let me get you turned around.
Vanessa, this is not funny. Vanessa!
Those are Vanessa's knickknacks. I picked them all out. Unfortunately, they're very hard to see unless you're in a theater. And here goes Little Red Riding Hood. This is the first real beat on Little Red Riding Hood. And she's off on her big adventure. And in a sense, this is the jumping off point, even though the film's been running a little while. Not very socially responsible.
Fuck are you, Chopper?
I thought it could be a signature trademark of mine that I could always have somebody drinking a beer when they drive. Bokeem Woodbine came to me. He's playing a 15-year-old.
Just after you left, the pigs came and pinched.
I never expected him.
Shut up like a motherfucking plague to take me off the foster care.
I was really happy. And that, of course, that's Vanessa's love interest. And I didn't want this to be a love interest movie. There's so many love interest movies.
I know. Look, I'm going up north. And unless
So,
you ever want to see me again,
she's
you better
saying
go
goodbye.
right now and come with me.
I gotta be in court next week for sense.
And I'm a big fan of screen kisses. And there's no way I could make a movie without a great screen kiss. And here is my contribution
Wow.
to the screen kiss.
Where up north are you going?
Here we go.
Stockton.
It's coming.
No.
Oh. No, it's the exchange of gifts.
Sell that when you get where you're going. It's from Spain.
She's so happy.
I love you so much, Chopper.
I love you too, baby.
And here it is. Young love. Reese is from the South, too. I hope she doesn't take any heat back home. But I wanted this to be a great screen kiss.
Here.
Bokeem had just come off doing Dead Presidents, where he was just fantastic. And I was really lucky to get him. Our casting agent, Mary Vernew, knew him. Oh, Reese is so cute there.
Bye, Chopper. My beloved boyfriend.
And there she starts her journey. Not bad second day shooting.
Hey, Peachy, man. Hey.
Now this might be pointless violence, and as being my first film, maybe I went overboard, but when I get rid of a character, I really get rid of him. My first screen violence. He does that well. He's died in a lot of movies, so he should do it well. And now, for all of you, I do not recommend shooting a movie on the freeway. It's really a stupid idea. It's the most dangerous place you can be. And in the middle of the summer, it's incredibly hot, and it's incredibly loud, and it makes you angry. It makes you angry to be on it. It makes you angry. Everybody was angry. So we exploited it. And here is the introduction of Kiefer. He kind of looks like Flap in terms of endearment.
You having some kind of trouble?
Yeah, the fucking cocksucker won't even fucking turn over.
The way we got Kiefer was Oliver Stone was directing Nixon.
Mind if I take a look at it?
And we really needed a male lead for this. And we called Kiefer in, and I followed the directions that I was supposed to follow, and I found myself walking through a facsimile of the White House. And I ended up in the Oval Office, Nixon's Oval Office, an exact duplicate. I am in the office of the Presidents of the United States, but there's gold wall hangings. It's kind of like Quaker Chinese restaurant, you know. It had never been decorated like that before or since. And Kiefer walks in, and I walk in, and we sit down. And after about 15 minutes, Oliver Stone blows in like the President of the United States. And he sat down, and he talked about, you know, film and integrity and all that. And it was really like being with Roosevelt or something. Oliver would make a great president. I saw it. He has it. And I think the power of the presidency convinced Kiefer Sutherland to be in my film Freeway. That's what happened.
Nah, Caltrans will take care of it. I know my mom used to work part-time for them. So, what'd I call you?
I'm sorry, my name is Bob Wolverton.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Lutz.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Vanessa.
Now, this was inspired by my parents were just so neglectful of me when I was a teenager that I actually had to hitchhike to school before I got my driver's license. But of course, this was in a quieter time, you know, a few years back, and wasn't so dangerous. But I'd say twice a week, I would get in a car with a creep, and it would always be, you know, an older guy, but Kiefer's playing an older guy in a way, you know. Some people are born old, and this character was born with a certain maturity of a slightly nauseating kind, and this was an easy scene for me to write because of all the times that I had been picked up by people hitting on me when I was like 13 or something.
Well, don't rub it in, okay? It's just my work. I see a kid who looks like they're in trouble, and I start asking all kinds of questions. I guess it's just become...
Reese is playing a little bitch in this.
Is that obvious?
Now she's warming up.
What is?
Me being in trouble.
She's tough.
Look, the offer's still open if you want it. You know, I've always
Now, these
thought
are my
that,
two leads, and I'm not in the car with them. And so in many ways, they're on automatic pilot. I mean, I'm not there. I'm in a truck in front, you know, bouncing along. And we found out one of our cameras here didn't work. However, we had a lot of coverage. But I was so happy with what they'd done, I just tried to use a two-shot as much as possible. And just keep the best performances.
My biggest problem right now is my mama's in jail.
Kiefer was a
sounds like a pretty bad situation.
very, very fastidious, professional
You mind me asking?
guy and exacting. And like I said before, this, I'd never directed anything. He's made 30-some odd movies. He's spent most of his life, most of his adult life behind a camera, or in front of a camera, rather. And behind a camera, too. He's also a director, a pretty good one. And
All they really need is someone to listen to.
there were times when it was daunting.
You probably get so sick of hearing them sad stories day in and day out.
I don't. I really love my work. I really do. I couldn't imagine myself
But of
doing
course, he
anything else. Not ever.
turned in a great performance. And all that really matters is what gets down on the screen in the end. And it was just great working with him. Great experience.
Why don't you begin with your mother? I mean, if you want to.
Here's Reese first blowing it.
My mama's a whore.
I couldn't believe it. I thought that was so great. I was just so impressed. You know, this is one of those movies like, you know, those old French films that are basically a director's celebration of girl. Well, this is a girl celebration, this film.
Looks like my stepfather's next parole officer ain't even been born yet.
And there's more girls, count 'em.
Vanessa, you really don't have anyone, do you?
It seems to be a running thread in my work that the girls are kind of like,
My real dad was this merchant marine out of Texas, but he got...
have the sort of fiery parts, and the guys are often the straight men. Although I hope I've broken that somewhat. This isn't Abbott and Costello. Oh, I was trying to come up with an idea for what Vanessa's father should look like. And I showed the casting agent a photograph of Richard Speck. And when it came time to have a photograph of somebody, I had turned down everybody. They would always bring me Polaroids of guys. And I would say, no, he's not, his face isn't pockmarked enough. He's not disgusting enough. And when it finally came down to it, all I had was a picture of Richard Speck. So we used it. It cost $250, too.
This old man there that everyone called Grandpa, and he had this disease called Weissenheimer's, I think it was.
This is a distillation of conversations I've had with women.
Yes, it's a form of senility.
All these
Thank you.
little
That's the best fucking dinner I've had all month.
speeches by Vanessa.
I wouldn't mind stretching my legs for a little while before I got behind the wheel. Do you mind?
No, sure. I got all the time in the world.
Great.
This was my best night with Kiefer.
I mean, you would have thought a check from the state would have been enough. But no, they figured on me helping.
This is a very demanding scene. It's two-shot. It does not break. They walk about a quarter mile doing it. And we did 2 takes, and it's like doing a play. And this is an incredible amount of dialogue without breaking.
A couple weeks after I'd been placed there, I woke up to see Grandpa standing over me with his cane in one hand and his you-know-what in the other.
I was just lucky to have
What
them.
happened?
Told him to get the hell out.
take it he didn't.
No, that's when he tried to slip it under the covers.
There was a
with me.
tree where all the wild parrots go to, right in front of them. And we had to wait till late at night until they shut up. And we were running behind schedule.
What did you do?
Well, got up on my knees and just slapped his dentures half out of his face. And then I dropped down on his chest and just started wailing on him.
God, she's so
Beating
cute.
him up so hard, swearing so loud.
My God.
Yeah. So then the lights went on. Mr. Morales showed up.
See, it's still going on. See that light, that wall way back there? That's how far they've walked.
It's so hard. I had to have my jaw wired shut for nearly 3 months. Broke my nose too. That's how come it's so big.
Vanessa. Your nose is not big.
Reese is 19 years old in this scene. She's playing 16, but she was 19 when she shot it. And it's the first time that the character of Bob Wolverton really has a chance to look at her
My mom got out of rehab a couple days
full body. And he's got definite growing lust for her.
Stepdad was on parole.
And she doesn't know it.
Yeah. Larry's been in lots of pens.
You know, the funny thing is with the Vanessa character's relationship with her stepfather, if Kiefer Sutherland had wanted to be with her in an intimate way, all he had to do was ask. But he just played this
Nothing real bad.
bastard
Vanessa, please don't be offended by my
character.
But, did your stepfather molest you?
I remember Kiefer
God.
walking off this scene, you know, when we finished shooting it, and he just said really loudly, "Bob Wolverton is a real dork."
Daddy's fuckhole tattooed on my
And he is. You know, in many ways, it's a thankless part. As I said before, actors don't want to ever look ridiculous, for good reason. I mean, once you look ridiculous, you always look ridiculous in a way. People always remember a terrible movie, and it's always a new endeavor. You know, you don't know what's going to happen, especially with somebody untried like me. This is the creepiest part in the movie, one of the creepiest parts, and at times, you know, it was like a black comedy in many ways, but it also has these pretty intense moments.
You have to look this pain in the eye.
He's really
Otherwise
conning
it'll
her.
rule over every aspect of your life.
Reese has a very protean face. It changes constantly.
You have to trust me. You're going to have to let me in.
I mean, even right now, her eyes are going like a Walter Keane painting.
think about my
Sure, she looks like something out of Doonesbury. Right there.
Let's go.
I never saw her make that face anywhere else in the film, anywhere else in real life.
Vanessa, just take your time. Take your time.
Actors, good actors, have a totally different wiring than the rest of us. To be able to mimic like that.
I love him when Larry first hit on me.
Where was your mother?
Stupid halfway house.
This is Reese pouring her heart out about her molestation.
With my mama gone, I had all these extra chores that I had to do, like the laundry and the groceries and things like that.
Reese and Kiefer were very good together, very professional.
Yeah, I was so proud of myself.
You know, he's a veteran.
And then this one night,
She's a
we
bit
went
of a
to
veteran,
the,
too.
Dinner like we always do. And that's when Larry told me.
I saw magic going on.
Been to massage his
Two actors, I mean, one actor has it, two actors, it's just all over the place.
all through the show.
Did Larry have an erection?
That's putting it mildly.
We're on the Long Beach Freeway, going back and forth and back and forth
I mean, he just
and back and forth all night long.
whatever happened to be on TV.
I watched this scene over a little videotape monitor about the size of my palm, with 5 other people, lighting, you know, DP. We had several cameras going at once. I couldn't communicate with them over a speaker. What I had to do was communicate with them after each take. And like I said, for this one I had more takes than at any other part in the film. Although I ended up using 5% of what I shot. Actually, this one night we shot like 1,800 feet. And we were there several nights. 2 nights, actually. This was the one that had to be really perfectly on. It's sort of a suspense sort of situation. There's several different films in this one film, I think. And this is one of them. In a way, just this sequence from when she meets him to when they part could be like a wonderful half-hour TV show. I mean, you wouldn't know where it was going or the point of it, but it'd still be great.
This technique, it can be uncomfortable.
Go for it, Bob. I mean, if you think it's gonna help me.
Okay. Okay. Let's get started. Are you ready? A few moments ago, you were telling me that you felt like Larry had gone to the bathroom in your mouth. Those were your exact words. Do you remember? At that exact moment when Larry had ejaculated in your mouth, did you feel as though you were somehow being transformed into some kind of a human urinal?
What are you, fucking crazy?
Vanessa, you just have to answer with the first thing that comes into your mind. It's very, very important.
I knew I was flashing blood.
No, I understand that, but you have to tell me exactly how you felt. Vanessa, you have to learn how to express your feelings.
I've always felt this way about the way that Bob Wolverton is portrayed. Sort of reflects a lot of my feelings about pop psychologists, those pseudo doctors on those talk shows like Oprah, those carpetbaggers with their formulas and their useless advice. And I thought it would make a good villain.
Very good.
Just paint him in those colors.
Tell me this, and this is absolutely crucial. Are
Just
you
a
ready?
manipulative son of a bitch.
It's very good, Vanessa. Very good. Now tell me this, and this is absolutely crucial. Are you ready? Vanessa, did Larry try to fuck you up the ass?
God, he tried later on.
Vanessa, did you like it when Larry fucked you up the ass?
Piece of shit!
Vanessa, I told you this can get very, very...
When she first calls him a piece of shit.
Oh, yes, we are. We are definitely finished. Now you pull on over.
Vanessa, you can suffer irreparable damage if you break it off like
I don't
this.
give a goddamn!
Jesus Christ!
Sun's coming up, as you can see in the background. We would not have been able to shoot again. That was
You just settle down!
pretty close to our last night.
Is that what you want me to fucking do?
There are so many things that can go wrong on a film that can ruin it. Just absolutely ruin it. And we were lucky not to have any of them befall us, but they came close. You end up having something look like Plan 9 from outer space if you have the sun shining at night. And we lost the ponytail. However, you'll notice that it grows back within a few scenes. Because the signature trademark of all my films is that their hair will be the way I want it, no matter what happens.
I've absolutely reached my fucking limit with people like you, Vanessa.
And notice Kiefer, his whole face has changed right now. I mean, he looks really twisted. He's not wearing any special makeup or anything. He just looks really twisted. Acting's an incredible talent.
I am not.
Look at you. You're already a master at the manipulation of men.
I didn't run nothing on you.
So intrinsic to your fucking nature, you're not
I think
even aware
Kiefer
of
enjoyed working with Reese.
Stupid.
Because she's very talented, and it just must be a pleasure to work with people like that.
What, you think it's okay to do all sorts of bad stuff to me now?
When I watched this being performed in front of the camera, it made my stomach hurt. The power of it. You know, it was just words on a screenplay beforehand. And then I heard him saying this stuff, and I was just thinking, this is really vile.
Please indulge me. Tell me why I am a hypocrite.
You act like he's all on some sort of mission, but all you want to do is just get off in a sex-type way. You gonna do sex to me now?
Sex is a noun in that
I promise you.
milieu.
Really, really intimate. You're gonna be way past being offended.
What, you gonna fuck me when I'm dead?
She's not stupid.
Mister, I'm a person. I'm a human being.
Yeah, like that drug addict fucking whore of a mother of yours.
Well, I sure wouldn't want to meet your mom,
Here's a
Bob.
teenage line.
What, you can talk about my mom, but I can't talk about yours?
We are not here to talk about me, Vanessa. We are here to talk about you. So get your fucking pants down and tell me how your father used to fuck you in the mouth.
Please just let me go, Bob.
God damn it. Get
This
your
kind of made
fucking
me ill
pants down,
too,
you
this
fucking
beating.
cunt.
What'd you call me?
Oh, he said the C word. He's dead.
Down. Fucking cunt. Now get your fucking pants down, you dirty illiterate fucking cunt.
Please, Bob.
I said get your fucking pants down now.
Okay. Okay. But look, I got these boots, and I got all them laces and stuff. So you're gonna have to give me a minute.
Hurry up.
I think the worst thing that an audience member could imagine is that he's going to have his way with her.
You just settle down right now. Drop that razor out the window.
It's sort of a moment of relief.
So many times.
And now Reese just does an incredible piece of acting here.
You know, you should just let me out.
It's just incredible. I had all this coverage and I just used the two shot because, I mean, both of them are great, but Reese is the one who's like
Look, I've heard all
going off. And if you'll notice how fluid her expressions are, she's not thinking about it, she didn't plan it, it's just happening. She's living this character. She also opened up a 3-stitch gash on the back of Kiefer's head. Considering what actors get paid nowadays, a pistol whipping isn't so out of order, maybe.
You gotta believe that.
right. I'm so
It's one way for the audience to get their money's worth, I guess.
I don't even know why. Look.
And this is where
right now, I'm a profound
Reese is really coming on. Her toughness is becoming apparent, and her ruthlessness, because she is ruthless and she is tough. And I was kind of thinking in the realm of past tough guys that I'd seen in movies, because there haven't been many tough girl movies, and I wanted it to be along the lines of like Humphrey Bogart tough or Dick Powell tough, and just have it with a different person, a different sex, and maybe an age that might seem inappropriate, but they exist, and you know, given the circumstances, it's sort of natural that she'd be like this. And the Bob Wolverton character has definitely met his match.
Then you'll go to the penitentiary where the mighty Aryan Brotherhood will make you wish you'd never been born.
Because she plays a very hard character.
Is absolutely nil.
Vanessa does.
You think they're just gonna let you walk?
It'll be like that time Mr. Morales broke your jaw.
Now he's digging his own grave.
Absolutely. They won't take me for a killer. They'll let me go free.
Incredibly weaselly,
They'll send you to some new foster
this
home.
guy.
Probably make Mr. Morales' place look like some pleasant dream to you. Unless, of course, you want to play it smart for the first time in your life.
How do I go about doing that?
He's trying to convince her to let him go.
I got an ATM card. We can go get some more.
Most girls
You go
probably
your
would.
way, I'll go mine. I swear to God, you'll never see or hear me again. What do you say?
But I guess she has a social
Turn off on that
conscience.
exit up there.
Jesus
She
Christ,
knows what
Vanessa,
she's gonna
we're in the
do.
middle of nowhere.
Well, you want to get shot a whole bunch of times? Now do like I tell you, dumbass!
Okay, I'm turning.
You think this is a game?
She's taking him on that last drive.
What are we gonna do, Vanessa? Drive around for 3 or 4 hours looking for a cop?
Flapping your gums, Bob. Who cares if no one's listening? Pull up on that dirt road over there.
This is in Simi Valley. Rodney King fame. I had 3 guns, Colts, just like Reese is carrying there. And
Hell, that's all you ever see on TV.
they didn't work on the set. And we only had this set for one night. And finally we got them to sort of pop a little bit, as opposed to deliver a volley, but it edited well.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Please.
I think Kiefer's performance here is just swell,
Guy goes and hurts someone who never hurt them. That makes him a criminal.
as is Reese's. She's still on.
It's like being sick has to take second place to being crooked.
I could never do that, what he's doing right now.
You proved that to me tonight. Am I making any sense?
There's so much I want to tell you.
Bob.
Vanessa, look, there's so much more to me than what you
Bob.
saw tonight.
Bob.
I mean, he even made his nose run.
I'm gonna ask you a question, and it's real, real important, okay?
What?
Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior?
Vanessa's expressing her piety.
Tell me now, Bob. I need to know.
This is a religious
Do you
movie in a
believe
way.
that Jesus Christ is your Lord and personal Savior?
This has religious values.
Yes, I do. I swear.
That's really good.
You should always ask somebody if they believe in Jesus before you blow their head off, I guess. And here is my influence of those sci-fi horror movies at 1 in the morning when I was a kid. Chiller, Monster Theater.
Oh, God. Not like this. Ah!
I debated whether to put music in this scene. Yogurt.
Oh, God.
And I wanted if you'll notice Kiefer's legs there, I wanted to make it look like the last frame in the Fleer Bubblegum comic. You know, where the guy's legs, where he's jumping back when he hears the punchline.
Please bless Mama, Larry, and Chopper.
This is my favorite shot. This should have been one of the stills. This expresses my belief in God. And God told her to get his wallet. Because he's a practical God. It's funny, a first-time director has these actors that are, professional and have done scores of films, and you're intimidated, but at the same time you're asking them to roll around in the dirt and like pour buckets of corn syrup over their head. This was my worst night with Reese. It was like everything was going wrong. And this blood was making her skin break out. It was our only bad night really together. You have a director has a very intense relationship with their actors. It's incredible and intense, and it expressed itself in this evening more than at any other time. I think she was ready to kill me, but it helped the role. It was all stuff that was necessary to make it work. This is a real hospital. It's been closed down for some years. And there's the nurse. She just dropped a bottle of urine. And Kiefer.
Please. Help me. Call my wife. Please.
Freeze! Police!
Here's the cops.
Let's go!
We're back to Cops, the television show.
We got a gun! We got a gun!
Vanessa reacts just like her mother.
You don't have to. Goddamn world's got a gun. You're gonna throw me in back of this
Enough!
It's her routine.
goddamn bright.
She's used to it.
What? Well, you're not even gonna speak to me, Mr. Oint Man? I bet you like that.
Back it up!
Mr. Wolverton.
Ah, Dan Hedaya.
Mr. Wolverton's just learned that he's going to have to undergo a radical colectomy.
Yeah?
And Wolfgang Bodison. When I first saw Kiefer in this get-up, it was nauseating to look at. To be there was more nauseating than to look at it on video, but it's...
Lynette Wallace from the Sheriff's Department. I know you're in a lot of pain, but can you take a moment? I want to show you a
He's great to
photograph.
work with.
Tell me if this is the person that shot you. This the person that shot you? This the person that shot you? You sure?
I chose
is the
this
person
picture
that shot
out of many hundreds.
you? Okay, all right, you'll be all right.
And now Brooke Shields. Brooke is a superhuman. She's an Oberwoman. She's incredibly coordinated. She's kind of like a panther. She has just this perfect look, this perfect temperament. She's incredibly intelligent. I knew that anybody that was married to Bob Wolverton would have to be just totally out there in one way or another. And I thought this would be reflected in her clothes. And I went shopping for her. I got her 4 outfits. Actually, they were almost half our clothing budget. Those clothes are very expensive. I made inquiries as to where the Persians go. Persian women go. Like the women who wear their jewelry into the pool.
Responsible for prosecuting this case can muster just a little bit more sensitivity to the rights of the victims than you appear to have.
I didn't mean
I think Brooke
I want that little monster to pay for
is
this.
absolutely a perfect specimen of a human being.
From the next
She,
person out there that she'll end up hurting or
she's,
killing if, God forbid, she
first of all,
does
she's
that to
enormous.
again.
She's very tall, and she looks like the Statue of Liberty. Her face. When she comes on again, you'll notice.
Vanessa Lutz.
This was an all-day shoot this day, this scene in here. Reese just went all the way through, and we went around the table getting everybody's coverage. And I'd say she did it about 10 times. And we are at a place called Peter Pitch's Honor Rancho, which is a prison and jail. It houses like 14,000 inmates. Some of the worst people in the world. The Menendezes were there for a while, too. Constantly has riots.
Vanessa, the reason that we're here is to give you an opportunity to change your story.
We went to several prisons for this.
A big fat liar now, wouldn't it?
Look, kid, cooperate. Because right now, we're the best friends you've got.
Yeah, I'm so sure.
You don't believe we're your friends?
I believe you're out to ruin me. Look, I never
Outside those glass bricks is a medical facility for prisoners who are sick or who've been beaten up. There were just constantly people being brought in who'd been beaten up.
Okay.
We had to walk past their cell blocks to get to this place.
What do you want to know?
Did Mr. Wolverton say he was the I-5 killer?
He didn't say he wasn't.
I haven't said
Wolfgang Bodison, I'd first seen him in A Few Good Men. He played one of the Marines who had beaten the guy to death in the beginning, and I really liked him. The Marine he was playing was Guantanamo-based Marine, which is the most gung-ho, serious group of soldiers just about that there is. And I liked that kind of intensity, and I wanted a little of it in Freeway. And the character he's playing is like a shark. Vanessa's trash, and she's also sport. He's the kind of cop that looks at, you know, all criminals as sort of the way hunters do with game. It's just fun, and they don't. He's really not interested in scratching the surface. He likes catching them.
Why don't you just turn him in?
He's always enjoying himself.
But he kept saying that it would be his word against mine.
At his work.
And that he'd just get off, and I would go to foster care again. And aside from that, I just knew that if I let him go, he would go out and kill some other
This girl's a bit
and that would have been my fault.
different,
And I
or
couldn't
proves
have
to be.
that. Never. No way.
Why were you so convinced we won't believe you?
Because I've been in the
Dan sort of likes
been
her.
in the system once. Ain't no one never gonna believe you again. It's just how it goes.
Tell us about your past legal problems.
It's all my fault.
I want to hear from you.
Okay. All right, when I was younger, I used to have this problem with shoplifting. And I got caught.
I liked divulging more about characters in the middle of a film as opposed to just doing it in the beginning. I think the divulging of a character's ways and past and history, all of that is some of the most interesting stuff you have in a film, and
Okay?
I like keeping it going.
I learned later that I had this problem with anger. But I don't have that problem no more.
Just answer the question.
Back in Texas, these cops said that I lit this shed on fire.
What, you were arrested for arson?
Vanessa's talking about her basic history of, you know, fire starting, violence, stuff like that. And so it looks like a psychopath, but she's not, of course. Or if she is, she's a good psychopath.
How many times were you arrested for arson?
3 times.
The good psychopath is rarely portrayed.
What else?
Come on, Vanessa, tell us.
Soliciting.
The Vanessa character is very embarrassed about all this. Now she's telling her most embarrassing secret.
Let's get back to the questions.
No, What's that supposed
That
to
she
mean?
was hooking, but now
You
she's
think
mad.
prostitution comes natural like being a nigger? Oh, what, you don't like being
She's
called
allergic
a nigger? Well, I don't
to
like being called a natural-born whore.
Rude men
So there.
as a result of Bob Wolverton.
Keep talking to me the way that fucking guy did.
Is that why you shot him? Or was it because you wanted what was in his wallet?
And she knows how to push people's buttons. So she's getting racial. And we end this tender scene with a pratfall. I always keep him off balance.
Why'd you call those names, Vanessa?
Because he didn't say he was sorry. And I knew it'd piss him off. Now, how about that phone call? Come on, I need another quarter. Come on.
She's trying to make contact.
Hey, Mrs. Wood. Is Chopper there?
But she's all alone in the world. And this is where her resources come into play. Perry Mason.
Holy shit. Look who got beat with the ugly stick. Is that you, Bob? I can't believe it.
I asked a lot of these people. Definitely.
You are so ugly.
That's the second outfit of Brooks.
It's gonna cramp your style space, big time. You know that, huh? Especially little Miss Priss over there. And hey, I heard you have one of them big poop bags that's like attached to your body and all your shit comes out like lands in it.
Because the legal system was hostile to my character Vanessa in this film, I had a natural hostility towards the legal system and cops. I think we're a bit regulated in our society. In fact, as I said before, she comes from a strata of society that lives under somewhat different circumstances. The cops can break down their house. They're pretty much owned by the state. And there's so many of these people, 1 million people in prison right now, 80% of them nonviolent, non-thieving. I felt we're on our way to becoming a prison state. And I wanted to portray these people without berating the fact they are convicts very often, or will be, or have been. Vanessa's a state-owned character, person. They can do whatever they want. These people are always on parole or probation, and it's what we do to our poor. This is Susan Barnes. Susan Barnes is a great character actress. She's also one of the top acting coaches in the world. It was a pleasure working with her. She's just wonderful. She really gets it.
To Bridgewater. I'm Mrs. Collins, and if you follow me...
I think to be a great actor, you have to have a great sense of humor, and she certainly had that, as did Amanda and Reese and Kiefer and everybody involved. And now we're going into Girls' World. This was the happiest place I ever was. We are now in the Twin Towers Jail, run by the Sheriff's Department in South Central LA. Really terrible neighborhood. The cops jog outside, but within the compound, but they're always having bottles coming down from the freeway, or bullets being fired into it from the freeway. Most of the jail is unoccupied. We built it, but we didn't have the money to fund its operation. So it's a wonderful $300 million set just for Freeway.
See, I'm on...
This is Brittany Murphy.
What did you do this time?
And she was in Clueless. You might have seen her. And we worked out her part before we ever got to shoot. She'd come in and I'd say, "No, sicker." And she'd do it again and I'd say, "No, sicker." And this went on for a while. And then I wanted to put scars on her. I think scars look great on a woman.
Makes you think I killed somebody.
They got you.
Marla Hanson, for instance.
Murder suits.
This looks fantastic.
Only the shooters wear them.
And she's very funny, this kid.
Actually, I left him for dead. But he pulled through.
Oh, I'm here for huff and paint.
They put you
The
in
girls
prison,
are from various extra agencies. I tried to pick out the ones that
They found this grandma tar.
looked the
in
most
my cooch.
bent in one way or another.
No, everyone's way too gnarly for me.
There's Alana Ubot.
I don't get how a person could go through their whole lives.
I tried to pick girls that looked the most convict-like, but every time we'd call them up, their number would be disconnected.
You can keep them.
We got a few of them in, and I love the three girls with Alana. Alana is a comedian extraordinaire. She was in the Brady Bunch. I loved the Brady Bunch, by the way, and she played the gay girl. Can I sleep at your house, Marcia?
You
Remember?
only gotta
And,
worry about you.
they're just all so beautiful. I love cholas. Cholas, for those of you who aren't from Southern California or Texas, it's a Latina type of street tough and female. And I just love them. I like the way they shave their eyebrows and the whole look. The girl on top right there wasn't Reese. It was the girl who plays Tinkerbell at Disneyland, who flies down from the mountain. She's a stunt woman. And we cracked her jaw here. There's the old pencil in the ear. I just wanted to show Vanessa as being a convict wise in the ways of penitentiary life. The violent scenes, everybody gets hurt. It's just incredible. Your actors get hurt, the stunt people get hurt. The doctor stuck his thumb when he tried to give her a shot. That's a punishment cell block right there. I love her. Here's our dream of Vanessa, dreaming the good things, the muscle men.
Grandma?
The giraffes. Grandma.
Grandma?
Grandma does porn in all these magazines and films, actually. The porn actress. That guard broke her foot later in the day.
Vanessa Julia Lutz. Inmate shows no remorse.
Now Vanessa's making a knife. I'm teaching a skill to young people if they ever find themselves in this situation.
Refuses to
What to
accept
do?
responsibility for her actions. Recommendations. This inmate appears to be a sophisticated criminal and an extreme danger to society, and should be required to pay the penalty for her actions in a facility for
Use
adult
the right tool for the job.
Diagnosis: antisocial personality disorder. Prognosis: very poor.
Passage of time.
Recommendations: this individual is probably too far gone to benefit from corrective behavior modification.
She's a happy girl.
Kind offered in a setting for juveniles.
And this goes to show that men don't know what they're talking about when it comes to female anatomy. It's an old prison trick. That's why they do full body searches, so that that sort of thing doesn't happen, but the tube is kind of large and I didn't realize. So forgive me for that lack of continuity.
Hello, Vanessa. You think you can join the rest of us now?
Nobody gives me no more problems.
We need to put an end to the system that lets danger...
I thought he fit well in the prison. Our governor, Pete Wilson, worst governor we've ever had. Pure scum.
Hi, this is Janice Miller at Inside View. We're here with Mr. Robert Wolverton and his wife, Lynn.
More girls.
At their home in Orange County. Would you describe some of the hardships?
I loved this outfit.
Since this ordeal began. My husband's been permanently disfigured.
Notice Brooke's attire. Third outfit.
What frightens them? He's unable to have sexual relations. You're saying your husband is no longer capable of achieving an erection. That part of our lives is over now. What
I hope
makes
she
it
got
so
to keep
painful
this stuff.
is how that little monster ridiculed us during her preliminary hearing. And the media. How dare the media talk about how hard...
There's Alana.
What about us?
I designed her hair.
She's been locked up with 9...
I designed everyone's hair.
Why was she ever let back out on the streets again in the first
Kiefer designed his own hair, in keeping with the character.
shot your husband were here? What you want to say to her?
But everyone else was me.
$300 she stole from my husband. Are you bitter, Mr. Wolverton?
In one respect, it's like having dolls to play with.
My dick may not function, but I have not lost my smile.
I know there's a lot of people looking for some real-life heroes, and I think I found a few.
Their courage is a real inspiration. And now, stay tuned for an unusual story about a couple of sweltering polar bears in Texas.
During this nightmare sequence, there's a shot of Kiefer in the original makeup that I wanted for him. It's the test shot. There it was. And that took 6 hours to apply, and we just didn't have time to do that given the limitations of our shooting schedule. However, that's what you should pretend you're looking at when you see him. And you can stop it on your laser disc and get a perfect look. This is a second love scene. Look at her. She looks like a saint.
Just get all these bad nightmares once I get out.
You know, if you're going to be a writer, you have to write about things that interest you. And these women interested me. I couldn't have sat at the keyboard without these women. And I saw something like her. Although Courtney brought something, you know, unique to it. I wanted to show these young people as being sort of irrepressible. I mean, no matter how much you push them down, they're still young people. And they're going to come up and do what they do, just like grass coming through cement. They can't be stopped.
Getting the hole much longer, I'm just going to be like this hermit, shunning all human
And
contact.
for society to try to put a lid on young people as youth is just nonsensical, a waste of time. Only makes life harder for everyone.
People need people.
I ain't so sure about that, Rhonda.
Most of them are there for drug offenses
What
anyways.
is it that you think that you need?
I'll tell you. Back in the hole, I decided all I need to live was my will. And a knife's good, too. So you don't feel so at the mercy of events.
Here come the horns.
You made this.
Yeah, my
stepfather Larry showed me how. It's pretty cool, huh?
Vanessa gets along with other girls.
What are you gonna
You wouldn't
do
expect her to.
Get the hell out of here.
You might have
I guess
to
I'm
let
just
that-
a feminist at heart.
What, you really feel sorry for them people? You think normal people just wake up one morning and decide they're gonna work in a prison? They're perverts. Every last one of them. And them fuckos get my way, I'm gonna make they wish they hadn't.
Do you like that?
I'll make out with you. No fucking. 'Cause I'm straight.
That's one of my favorite lines in the film. And love ends. And they're spontaneous with the flashlight.
It's obvious my client is a child and very unstable. It says right here, nearly illiterate, emotionally immature, prone to impulsivity.
Another outfit?
unpredictable.
Your Honor, she is charged with a gruesome crime.
Counselor, please. Then it goes
Reese
on to
isn't
say she's
impressed.
tried as an adult.
And stand trial as an adult she will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jury's
You know, I wanted to shoot a love scene with Brooke and Kiefer, too. But, I didn't have time.
What are y'all looking at? Fuck all y'all. Fuck you,
I
Chipmunk.
think in 25 years I'll do a remake.
Skip her wife.
I see here that you and Vanessa were arrested together twice in a period of 2 years.
Yeah. We needed the money. We thought
There's
y'all
another,
could
girl.
chips on Warren Avenue, right outside the snack and shop.
There's really 4 girls in the film. There's Sarah Dubkoff.
You two were engaged in
She came in, and the second I saw her, that's who I wanted for this. They're little bitty parts, but they're, you know, they pack a wallop, as you'll see when she gets up.
Oh, you think that's funny?
Yeah.
What about her boyfriend who passed away?
It was pretty exclusive.
Okay, Cherry. That'll be all for now. Thank you very much.
I wanted to juxtapose the sort of slutty quality with the cane and leg brace. I think whenever you're gonna go for like the raw sex, you want to juxtapose it with something out of the ordinary. And then
What do you know?
this is a silly turn in that
She's a coal burner.
What's a coal burner?
the whole plot turns on the fact that her boyfriend's black.
Aren't you?
And this guy realizes that she's not what she appears to be because she was calling him all those racial epithets.
Wallace, look at her friend.
And it's the first indication to him that something might not be as he expected and saw her. And it's a stupid way to turn things, but at the same time, I mean, our society is turning on the basis of racial issues. So stupid is as stupid does. We're stupid, so our films are stupid in a way, in some sense. I mean, this actually has bearing in life, color. And there's the braid. It should be going, help me, help me.
Go on.
The girls are being watered.
On the back, ladies. Diamonds on the back.
They say diamonds on the back for a way to hold their hands. They have to hold their hands with the thumbs and forefingers touching. Just like that. That's in all youth prisons in California. Diamonds on the back, kids.
Forget to wash your
We
hands
built
now,
this
ladies.
bathroom. The gas station owner charged us $5,000. And when we weren't out of there at the exact moment, he ran over asking for another $5 because he knew if he could stop our filming, we'd be up the creek. So I gave orders. I had a couple of guys waiting for him to beat him up and throw him in a van when he came by, because he was a crook, and he deserved it. And they scared him off, actually. He didn't want to get in the van. He was scum.
I'm going to send the frontera for 20 fucking years, so why the hell shouldn't we help each other? Because 2 heads.
She's wonderful in this. She's playing a tough guy role. If it was in black and white, it would look like Humphrey Bogart or Dick Powell.
All right.
But they're girls.
Vanessa, I'm dead serious. What did I say?
And like I had stated, I felt sort of an antipathy towards the legal system and prison guards and all that. And Vanessa voices the line, they're all perverts anyway. And it's pretty much how I feel. Considering that most people are in there for drug offenses. She doesn't die. I know I wrote it. She takes an early retirement.
My sister Brenda thinks you're cute.
I do not.
You too.
That's good. Where's Miss Collins?
Notice the braids? I did the braids.
Who told you you could fight?
She's a ruthless kid, what can I say? I got in a lot of trouble with the MPAA over this little shot here. Apparently you can kill thousands, but, you know, if they're wearing a uniform or it's a socially topical film, then suddenly a little violence is a lot worse. I mean, look at what Van Damme does. I saw him stick a fork in some guy's head in a film the other night. That's acceptable, but the MPAA saw this and they were just screaming. And here's the skipping little girls off into the sunset. I guess I'm a revolutionary. Well, in my sentiments.
My homies are here, Vanessa.
And here come the cholos.
I miss you so much. You smell the same.
These are all bad teenagers.
I was playing with ketchup. This is, it's my little bunkie, Vanessa. Get un carro, okay? And don't you worry, cacahuate, everything will be all right. All right.
She calls her cacahuate. That means my little bloody peanut in Spanish.
You look pretty. Saga, you want to think I'm sound all feminist and shit. It's like, the one thing that I learned in jail is that girls gotta help out other girls, you know? Especially communist girls, because
This is deep philosophy.
I hear what you're saying.
Girls gotta stick together. They went out and stole a car. That's a bloody set of keys. They obviously carjacked it. You know, Vanessa's entering a criminal life now. Pretty well dedicated.
Yeah, you already done too much for me.
Like I said before, I've always loved cholas. I went to high school with them. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, there was a great deal of voluntary segregation. The Mexicans hung out away from the blacks, which hung out away from the whites. It's just like in jail or something. I mean, I had individual friends and stuff, but I saw them from afar, and to me, they were exotic. And I just thought they were beautiful. Cholos have a lot of heart. They're very honor-oriented. They're sexy. And they're downtrodden, so it's they're just perfect for my writing. Sexy, downtrodden, honor bound. It's great. Real cinematic stuff. I want to be the Roger Vadim of psychopaths. Ah, I loved this house.
Good morning, Mrs. Wolverton.
I didn't have to change anything. All I changed was the wolf in the front. I didn't want to lose sight of the myth.
Is your husband here now, Mrs. Wolverton?
No, he's at St. John's doing his
So they're in
physical
the
therapy.
wolf's
Now, what
lair.
the hell are you doing here?
Go over to the hospital and escort Mr. Wolverton back here, please.
Why?
As you'll see right in just a moment.
Mr. Wolverton, I have a search warrant here. If you would just sign it anywhere, we'd be fine.
I'm not signing anything.
You like the outfit Brick's wearing?
Steve, make note.
I
that
sure
Mrs.
did.
Wolverton refused
I
to
could
sign
just
on
spend a
this.
lifetime dressing her.
So noted.
See the wolf?
Take care of the downstairs and make sure you check out the garage, the backyard. and
Bob watches over them.
What's this all about?
Mrs. Wolverton, certain evidence has come to light which we are duty-bound to investigate.
Brooke Shields looks like a hood ornament on a 30s car.
Discuss it in the presence of your husband, if you don't mind.
There's
She's
a
too
storage shed out
perfect.
back. I'm gonna take a look. You wouldn't happen to have the key, would you?
Fuck you.
Didn't think so.
Here comes the sea of pornography. I put it outside my house. They put it in my car on the last day. I put it outside my house. The next day it was all gone. 300 pounds of porn.
Robert Wolverton. Correct. Age 32.
The cops are all eating and drinking coffee and reading
20
porn.
pounds from remains. Human, animal. Who knows?
Mrs. Wolverton, were you aware your husband had mental problems?
Those were children.
Children? Yes. Just like the Let's Grow we've been dying to see get strapped down in the gas chamber.
Will you ease up on her? Fuck her!
There she goes. There goes Brooke. Around the corner, up the stairs, around the corner, to her room, slammed the door. She didn't waste no time. There you go, folks. It's all for you. The cops are reading porn. I didn't have any close-ups. His porn's been found. And this was a great scene. This was, we didn't have any money this day to get cops or permits. Reese arrived and she goes out to do her scene and she actually believes that the cars driving by are actors. And the guys are asking her, "How much, baby?" And stopping. This guy's an actor. But this guy is not an actor coming up. That's not an actor. And he's asking her how much to have sex, and she thinks, you know, he's with us. Now here comes our actor. And I thought he was the trickiest looking guy I could find. When Reese got in the car with him the first time during a rehearsal, she jumped out as fast as she got in and said that her skin was crawling. He really had it down.
Sure, you can do that.
And look, I got to dress Reese up.
All right, you just find us an alley and I'll take care of you right where you sit.
Full makeup.
Pay $25.
I never had dolls when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You're underage, aren't you?
What, is that a problem?
And I really lucked out in this scene to have this green ivy
Sure got that right.
with her eyes in the green. It was very fortuitous.
A lot easier that way.
Give me all your money. All of it.
Damn it!
She wasn't going to do him.
Hey, I'm sorry, okay?
Not ever.
I was aiming at your head, mister.
Okay.
Oh, she looks wonderful.
Get this over quick.
I think Reese knew how to handle a gun very well. She was a natural. All girls from the South seem to handle a gun very well, even if they've never handled one. I know.
Don't swing that motherfucking thing at me.
Once again, this is inspired by hitchhiking to and from school as a kid, although it never developed this far. I was trying to think how I'd feel if I was in the same position. You know, she's this kid, and you know, she's expected to give this little twerp a blowjob. You know, just pissed off. I guess guys have got the testosterone, so like that comes natural. If we were treated the way women were treated, we'd kill somebody. I mean, we would. We'd kill them.
No, you get all them panties off before I get really pissed.
Reese reads that like in Deliverance.
You think I'm kidding? Get your ass in the trunk.
Please. I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, well, I get claustrophobic sucking strange dick. Get in there.
Please.
That's an oft-repeated complaint.
I gotta pee.
Well, be in there, motherfucker. I ain't kidding. Now. Dumbass. Shit.
This is my tribute to Dr. Phibes. And this is like those 50s, you know, scary movies. That's what he's supposed to be. I couldn't get that voice box like David Lynch seems to use so frequently the way I wanted. They're hard to find. Didn't realize that until the end.
Warm up?
So we made do. He's wearing a new kind of device that hasn't been sprung on the public yet for talking without a voice box. I haven't decided whether he was supposed to eat through his throat or whatever. And here comes Reese for the grand finale. I wanted to shoot it at night, but I couldn't. But what inspired me for this was those Italian westerns. You'll see the influence in a moment. She's going to let that trick in the trunk just fry. He's never getting out.
There's the exit.
Here we go. Sergio Leone. Dun, 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 dun. She's wearing red. Now we're going into the fairy tale aspect. Here's our topiary and little fairy tale things. The denizens of the trailer park stole it all after we broke. Cost many thousands of dollars. They were scum. But the corn's real. This woman who owned the trailer was growing corn, and she gave us her digs for a while. We had a little incident here. They don't hear the trick, by the way. Now they're going to close in on Vanessa. And when Wolfgang jumped behind the wheel, he floored it. And Dan Hedaya wasn't all the way in the car yet. And that caused a moment of conflict. Dan was ready to kill him. Here comes Little Red Riding Hood. She's going in the house to find her grandma.
Grandma, wake up. Time to wake up. I'm your granddaughter. I'm here to take care of you forever and ever and ever.
Reese is so beautiful to me right here, this next shot of Reese. So gorgeous.
Some big, ugly fucking teeth you got, Bob.
And that was the closest I could get to the line of what big teeth you've got, Grandma.
What did you do with my grandma?
And I loved seeing Kiefer dress up like this. There's Grandma.
You killed my grandma!
There's Sidney Lassiter. He helped us out. There he goes. This stunt girl broke her face too. We had to use two of them. Sidney's walk off. He's gonna drag him across the floor. This is Hawaii 5-0. Shot that with a little mirror we had, like a prism. You could point it right down on the floor and get it right up at Kiefer's face. This is a great death scene. That's our girl. I love Reese. I'd like her to be like my Toshiro Mifune, just use her over and over and over again. Till there's nothing left. More Hawaii 5-0. Dead grandma. Violated. Kiefer holding his breath.
Holy shit.
Y'all got a cigarette?
And you know, when you think about it, you don't know where Vanessa's gonna go. But I wanted a happy ending, you know, like here's some ice cream, little girl, and that's it. See you at the movies.